Welcome to the DOJO Podcast.
DOJO
is a very special day.
It's always a special
every episode is a special damn day. But today's a very special day.
Very special.
It is very special because me and D-Bag will be having a one-on-one.
Yep, the duo cast.
We ain't never had a duo cast, but this is going to be our first one ever. But not the last.
You're
not
right.
the last.
You're right.
But it's also a special day because we haven't recorded in a long time. We haven't recorded in a little bit. It's felt like a little while.
Sure.
And that's because my boy Baggy's been a little sick.
Yeah, you're gonna hear me cough.
He's a little sickly, so bear with my boy. But me and Darren, me and D-Bag saw a movie. How long ago did we watch that? Like 2?
Shit, it was like
3?
hella weeks ago. Like
4? 3?
5?
I think 3.
No, I think it was more than that.
4?
I want to say 5.
It was the week after Rise Skywalker came out, I think.
Oh. Then I want to say 5.
Oh my god. Well, are you? I don't think it's that
it was
long.
probably like 4.
We watched this movie, and it's a very good movie. What's it called, D-Bag?
The movie is called 1917.
1917, baby.
I was trying to think of a different film.
Dunkirk. Ew. Gross. But we watched a very, very, very good movie.
Yes.
And it's basically just about World War One, what's it like being in the trenches and shit like that. But this movie was a special movie. It hit home.
Yeah, it did hit home.
It was just really realistic. That's what I liked about it the most.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going for this movie. The big thing is that it's a one-shot film.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that it's one continuous shot, so it doesn't make any sudden cuts when there's like dialogue or there's no like sudden like scene changes. It's all in one continuous shot. Obviously, the whole film is not filmed that way.
Yeah,
they had to stitch it together.
There's no fucking way they could do that.
But it was really seamless. Like it's hard to notice.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, definitely. But because of that and a lot of different things like the score and the directing and the sets and all that, it's nominated for a lot of awards this year for the Academy Awards. The Golden Globes a couple weeks ago, it won like Best Picture and Best Director. So the Oscars are coming up, I believe, this week actually after this date of filming. And right now it is nominated for Best Picture, Best Director for Sam Mendes, Best Score, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, which is something that we mentioned, Best Sound Mixing, Best Visual Effects, Best Production Design, Best Makeup, and Best Sound Editing. So that's 10 awards right there.
Jeez.
But yeah, the big ones, it's running against Best Picture against a bunch of different films like Irishman, Parasite, Marriage Story. There's a lot of films. So, and it's one of the big ones.
One of the top ones. And going back and looking at like whenever the trailers first came out, I was pretty fucking excited for this one. I felt like we haven't got like a good war movie in a while.
Right.
I just felt like we've been in this fucking era of just superheroes.
That's true.
It's literally felt like we've been watching superhero movies for like the past 5 fucking years. Like I really haven't felt like we got a good war movie. And like the last time we watched a war movie was Dunkirk, and I didn't really like Dunkirk too much.
Yeah.
It didn't really hit too good with me. Like
I agree with that.
it was a good movie, but it just didn't feel good at the end of it, honestly. This movie was a whole different story. It's a fucking game changer.
Yeah.
But before we get into any of the plot, I just want to let everyone know that we're gonna spoil the shit out of it. So you guys might want to just either exit out. Don't want to watch it.
Not until after.
Yeah, not until after you guys watch it.
It's really hard to like talk about like the technical stuff, and I think the reason why it's nominated for so many awards is because of the technical stuff behind it.
Exactly.
Not necessarily the acting, but the cinematography and all the stuff that went behind the film.
Behind the camera.
Yeah, that's one reason why we love it so much. Because we really appreciate film at that level, not necessarily at like a film criticism level or a film history level. It's more about like the creation of films.
It's more about the production of things.
Yeah. So that's why we really love this film. But it's hard to really talk about examples without spoiling. So we are gonna go through each scene and talk about some of the best shots from it and all that stuff. So
I guess we'll start out with the beginning scene.
Yes.
I think it started out with Skull, right? It just
Skull and Blake were
napping.
Yeah,
we're taking a nap, and then their captain or whatever kicked him.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, Blake, your ass is up. This kind of like at the beginning, it doesn't really set the tone for the rest of the movie, but it was a good opening in the like when you start your movies, you always want to start out, or anything, any project or whatever, you always want to start it out strong. Right. And I felt like that beginning scene, we kind of already, I don't know, I felt like a sense of like brotherhood already, kind of in that beginning scene.
Definitely.
Since he chose him. He he could have chose anybody, but he chose him. Yeah, so that was probably like that. I felt like a good brotherhood moment right there. Yeah. And so leading after that, when they were walking into the trenches, and I think Blake just thought they were just gonna have some lunch or some food, maybe mail, something like that. Because when you're in the trenches, you don't typically get that every day. Like you don't have that luxury of having those type of things every day. So they thought it was just another one of those days. Yeah. But instead, they were given a very special mission from their general, who was the guy from Kingsman. Yes. Yeah. Who was the British dude from Kingsman without his eye, with the eye patch. Yeah. I forgot what his name was, but right. So he delivered them both a special mission to go across the front line. Is that what it's called?
So what happened was this is probably like a real event because it's based on like true
story,
true events in World War One. But basically, in 1917, the Germans they retreated, but it was a strategic retreat to where they're like kind of baiting the British to push. Yeah, where they have a better line of defense pretty much, and they have like artillery and stuff like they didn't have at the initial line. Yeah. So so the 2nd Battalion was going to push the Germans
because they think they had them on the run.
Exactly, but they didn't, and it was like a trap.
The Germans kind of read their situation, and the general figured out this plan, and he was trying to push the message over to what was the Devon, the
Devons.
Yeah, the Devons is who they were trying to...
General Mackenzie or something like that.
And they was trying to protect all those type of people. And back in the day, obviously, you don't have like...
telephones.
Yeah, you don't have telephones. So they sent the boys over to go and deliver this a very, very important message. Yeah. And you kind of... At that scene, that beginning scene with whenever they're talking to the general, you kind of... For the first time, at least, I kind of felt like that sense of like, there's no way they could fucking do that. Yeah. Like, there's like no way they can make it out alive of this situation. It's just like a situation where you're just like, there's a lot of complications to that. Like, first of all, they don't really know that the Germans are not just waiting in their trenches to pop them. You know what I mean? Because like going back to it, like. It's just a typical World War I thing where it's trench versus trench. Yeah. And, information isn't really set in stone, I feel like, in that time. Like, it's really hard to really judge, like, if the situation or if the judgments are correct. Right. So I kind of felt like, damn, like, there's probably a possibility they might run into Germans on the other side of the lines.
The initial trench.
Yeah, the initial trench. Yeah. I kind of felt that from that starting point up until they actually got into the trench. I thought like during that entire time, I thought they were going to get popped.
I thought so too. Yeah. I mean, the big thing about this mission is that they were on like a time limit. So like they had to make it to the 2nd Battalion before morning, before they actually attack. Yeah. To try to save them, to call off the attack. So yeah, that's a big thing. Like they were like in a big rush to like try to get there.
Exactly.
And they were like hella far, and a big journey.
And after they got their orders, Blake was like, all right, we need to go fucking go, because his brother was actually in the Devons. Yes. And he was going to attack, which is why Blake was so eager to go, because he wanted to get this done. But Skull was actually kind of nervous. Skull thought, this is just this is fucking nonsense. Like, there's
Right.
no way we stay alive from this. And of course, he chooses me to do this.
Yeah.
But that whole beginning scene where they were in the trench, you mentioned that scene that you liked.
Oh yeah.
The shot that you enjoyed.
Yeah. So in the whole first scene before they leave out for the mission, they're just walking through the trenches. And it's all one shot, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And what they really do in this time, and what I really appreciate about this film, even though it's one shot, they don't really make it boring. They always try to find something to fill the time. Is if it's not a big action piece, it's gonna be a big like character piece, or a big like way to set the tone or set the environment. Or
most of what I saw was more like character development.
Yeah.
Most of like
there was a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of character development in between action pieces is what mostly you saw.
You definitely see that. You were alluding to it earlier, but you definitely see it in Blake and Sko in the very beginning, because you said Blake was because his brother's in the other battalion. He was super eager to go, but he's also really naive and didn't really know the weight of this like mission.
Yeah,
and then Sko, he was a little more realistic about it and was really nervous, and you could really see it in their faces when they're getting the mission. That was one thing I was really paying attention to the second time we're watching it today.
Yeah, it was the acting.
Yeah, the acting. Yeah, very underrated. The acting was really
that's
good.
Why I'm saying. That's why I was surprised they didn't get at least a nomination.
Right. Yeah.
But the acting was great.
Yeah, the acting is not really like dialogue wise in this movie. It's more like
it's not really.
It's more in the facial. Acting. Yeah, it's more about like not only the technical stuff, but also like the facial expressions in their acting. You definitely see it in that one scene. Because like Blake was like super determined, like he was like like right away, and then Sko was like you could see it in his eyes. He was just like super shocked.
That's the one thing I liked about Sko's acting was that he had very good facial expressions to tell what he was feeling, especially with his eyes.
Yeah, you can see the like
his
fear
eye, you can see the fear in his eyes, which is what I hella liked about his acting specifically, because especially being in war, you're dealing with shit that's like traumatizing, and he portrayed a very good character.
Yes, definitely.
I think Sam Mendes did a good job at picking him to be the actor for this.
Definitely.
Yeah, but before they go into the no man's land, they meet with I don't know who the guy is.
He's like a different squad or something.
He's the guy who's supposed to give the boys permission to cross no man's land.
Exactly, yeah.
Because no matter what, if you go in no man's land, you're basically just gonna fucking die. So he was there to really like give them permission. But the one thing I liked about this movie was they did a good job at not just telling the story, but telling kind of the history of it all. Like specifically in like this scene, the captain, Sko and Blake go up to the captain. They're like, they're trying to talk to him, and he doesn't know what fucking day it is, because in the trenches, you just lose your fucking mind. You're just losing everything, and he doesn't know what day it is. None of his fucking platoon members or whatever, his company, don't fucking know what day it is. Everybody is just like whenever they're walking in between the trenches, you can see it. Everybody's like sad and depressed. Yeah, you could just tell. You can feel the vibe that it's just not right. And this just kind of goes back to the history of it all. It's like kind of depressing in a way.
Yeah, it's such a dark.
All
moment.
of it is. It's a very dark time.
In history, yeah.
Very, very depressing. And I think Sam Mendes did a good job at, portraying all of that actually.
Yeah. And
it's not just based off of like the actors. Like he does a good job at making sure the extras are looking just as they're just as important as the actors, basically.
Right.
Like there's a lot of things that are off to the side besides the main pieces of like, especially like the main two actors that are kind of a crucial piece to the movie and a crucial piece to not only the history, but the story, like most important, the story. That's just my take on it.
No,
just off the rip, honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. The first scene, even though there's not too much going on, there actually is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a lot.
Yeah, because it's just showing all the like the horrors. But what I really like is that it doesn't beat you over the head.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's not like this big action set piece where hella people are dying and like people guts are spilling out or whatever.
The typical movie.
Yeah, the typical like war movie, right?
Yeah.
And like while those films have its place, what I like about this, it does it really subtly, and it tells it in a different way to where like, you know, the horrors are like in the trench.
Yeah.
The horrors are like, you know, you don't know if you're gonna make it out alive.
Because there wasn't a lot of action in this movie.
Yeah,
there wasn't any action, like too much action.
Yeah,
this movie was more story and like subtle things
and environmental.
Yeah, and environmental storytelling.
Yeah,
but like going back to what I was saying, it's just like this movie is more like it's not too much attention to detail, but there's a lot of like things that you need to think of, like little small things that I notice that really tell the story. And like in the opening scene, when Blake and Skull are walking, just like the environment when they're walking in between the members, like people are washing their dirty clothes or whatever, and like they're just hanging them up. It just shows how old things are. And Skull has this moment where he brings out his bread, and that's like all the food they had.
Yeah,
it just shows like what type of tragedy they have to go through, like what type of problems they have to go to. They have no fucking food, you know, they're living in muddy trenches, have to wash their clothes with cold water. It's cold already.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're living in terrible environments, rats and shit like that.
That's true.
So like I said, this movie is more than just like, it's not just action. It's more like you pay attention to the details and you'll really enjoy this movie for what it really is. And like all the attention, like all the little details in this movie, it really pays off for the story, in my opinion. But I know most people don't see movies like that. Most people, you know, think of just the bigger picture, which I mean, I understand completely. Like my dad doesn't really think about it like that. He didn't even know the movie was one shot.
Oh,
yeah, he did not know the movie was one shot ever at all.
That's okay. But
moving on to like the second part of the beginning.
Oh yeah.
They finally go into Dead Man's Land. And this is whenever you really start to understand the darkness.
You really feel the tension.
You feel the tension, you feel the darkness, and this is whenever it just hits you as a audience.
Oh yeah.
It hits you as an audience because now you're getting anxiety.
Now there's like danger.
I was getting anxiety in my seat this entire sequence.
Yes, or the whole movie.
The whole movie, but this scene specifically.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Got a lot of anxiety from.
Yeah.
Because going into No Man's Land or Dead Man's Land, it's just set in stone that you're not gonna make it out.
Oh yeah.
The captains were even telling them like
why the fuck are you?
Yeah, like why the fuck are you guys doing this? Yeah. He gave him a flare gun. It's just like. He's like, just make sure to throw the flare gun back because he knows they're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
And this is when you start seeing like the horrors of it, the darkness, the grayness of it all. Is like they're walking through these muddy ass trenches and there's dead horses with their bodies fucking
like flies.
There's flies all over them.
Ripped apart.
There's bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not a gory movie. No way is it a gory movie. But this is one of the only parts I think where you kind of see like. You know, dead bodies just lying around. It's
gory, but it's not like exploding or anything.
Yeah,
like
it's not like guts everywhere.
Yeah, it's more like it already happened.
Yeah. That's what I liked about this movie though.
Yeah, it's very solid.
We don't need a movie that's like too gory.
Yeah.
It's just kind of too plain now. Like that's just like a little just too plain now. So I feel like like going back to like Sam Mendes' like creativity. This is like just another version of creativity. Like the less he did, it kind of spoke more in my opinion. Definitely. So I'm actually like very happy that he did that. Yeah. But moving on, Blake and Skull are in the Dead Man's Land. They're just trying to get through.
Yeah, and they're like crouch walking. They're like super slow.
They're crouch walking. They're proning.
Yeah, because you don't know like what's gonna happen. Like, is there a German waiting at the line?
That's another thing. And I got that anxiety is because they also had that anxiety.
Yeah, they didn't know.
They were scared. They didn't know
exactly.
So I was more worried about like what was gonna happen to them.
Yeah,
and so they're continuing to go on. And there's the scene where he has to go. Skull and Blake have to go in between the barbed wire.
Right.
And Skull lets Blake go first by holding the barbed wire for him, and he cuts his hand.
it slips and then
he cuts his hand.
Yeah, the barbed wire goes in his hand.
And that was like the first little signs. I don't know if that was the first sign of blood we saw in the movie, but it was
it was one of the beginning ones.
Yeah, it was one of the beginnings, and they continue to go on, and then this is whenever they hit the shot. No. Then
this is when they go in the pit, and then so Sko's hands are already open, right, from the fucking barbed wire.
Yeah.
So they hide in the pit. Oh no, there's a plane that comes by.
The 2 planes come by.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh shit," because it's not theirs.
Get down and don't move.
Yeah, they get down, don't move.
Don't move.
And then they run into a different pit after they hide in the little small one. So they're in a like deep pit now.
Yeah,
and there's
big
like
ass pit.
Yeah, and there's like a dead German with his like little stomach open.
Oh yeah,
and then a rat comes out of it.
Yeah.
And then like it's hella bloody, and like the rat comes out, and then so Sko comes in first. And then Blake comes after it, and he sees a dead body. Him. Yeah, he sees a dead body next to him, so he's like, he gets scared.
Yeah.
And he like runs into like Sko, and then Sko
puts his hand in there,
open hand into a German's.
Oh guts. Yeah, okay, that's whenever it gets kind of gory, but like it's not too bad. And but that part was disgusting. Fucking sick.
Yeah, there's so many moments like that. It's
like that part is just so sick.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that he's putting his blood in other blood.
Open
that
hand.
part was pretty bad.
Where the rats were in
there.
Yeah,
that was kind of fucking disgusting. Yeah. But like I said, it goes back to what it was really like in World War One.
Yeah, it was like.
And moving on, they get into this big ass pit, and this is my favorite, one of my favorite shots throughout the whole entire movie, and maybe even one of my favorite shots ever of any movie. So they're going into the pit, and the camera, so the boys are walking in the pit, and the camera's kind of following them, and as they're going down, the camera goes down with them, and they're like walking around the pit, and there's a body of water that they have to walk around, which is why they're walking around, and the camera goes from up the pit into the fucking pit, and it just glides on the water while the boys are walking.
Yeah, from like the distance.
Yeah, in the distance. Best fucking shot I saw.
That was amazing.
It was.
I remember.
So good.
When we both saw it, we were like, we gasped.
Both me and Darren gasped because
we were like, holy shit.
Fucking good.
Because I remember like, because before this point they were just falling, like it was just tracking shots behind them.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think like, do they have the balls?
They don't have the balls.
They don't have the balls to do something crazy like that.
And they did it.
They did it. It was so smooth too.
It was very.
And then they just come back to the other side of that body of water and back to normal. I was like, all right. You just did that.
Like I just can't get over how good that shot is. It was just so smooth.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I don't know how they pulled it off.
I don't know how they pulled it off either, but hey, props to them because that shit was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
That was good.
Yeah, another thing is like really hard to see where they cut. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can't even really tell.
Yeah. You don't really notice it at all.
Mm-hmm. And so after that scene, we kind of get a little taste of the camaraderie between the boys. They do make it into the German trenches and nobody's inside. And they go into where the Germans were sleeping in their little like cave bedroom area. And it's just filled with fucking rats and shit.
Yeah.
And then so the boys were wandering around and they run into a trip mine. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sko almost runs into a trip mine. And then the fucking rat.
But then the rat was the one.
Stupid fucking rat just fucking falls from like the ceiling and just pops that trip mine.
Yeah, and it was so sudden. Like
that part scared me.
Yeah, everyone jumped like when that happened because that was like the first like real action moment of the movie.
Yeah.
And like just think about like you see the rat like so they see the trip mine, they're like, oh shit. Don't move.
Yeah,
and then the rat comes like, no. And it like, whoa.
Dude.
Like, it was hella loud,
too. It fucking scared me.
It was so loud.
Like, it honestly felt like we were there.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the one thing, is this movie constantly makes you feel like you're there with them.
Yes.
And this was the big scene that really made me feel like I was there with them. So, Sko gets fucking knocked into this fucking giant rocks and shit and pebbles.
Yeah, because like the whole cave is collapsing
the whole cave
on
is
him.
coming down, and like a big portion of it came down onto fucking Sko.
Yeah.
So Blake could have easily just fucking ran away if he really wanted to,
mm-hmm.
but
he digs up the rubble.
Yeah, he could have just left, but like that's like his brother, so he has to go in there and help him.
So he digs up the rubble and like literally digs out like the rocks
and gets Skull.
He's like, Skull, get up.
Yeah, you gotta stand up.
Dude, and like Skull looked fucking dead.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Yeah, Skull literally looked dead in this moment.
Because he had like
white dust all over his face.
He wasn't even awake.
And his mouth was just like open, and it's just like he just looked like a ghost.
Yes, dude.
He just looked like a fucking ghost. And then they had to do this scene where they jump over this mine. Yeah. And there's just a big ass pit or like a big ass hole in the ground. They have to jump, and Skull couldn't see shit because he had hella dust in his eyes. Yeah, dust in his eyes. And like that was just another moment where it's like you gotta trust your partner. You know, you gotta trust who you're with. Like and that was just another one of those like moments. Just like felt good afterwards, but it was scary as shit.
It was so like exhilarating, and it was like a really like way to set the tone, like how dangerous this mission was, and like it's literally a fight for survival. That's what I really like about this film. Like it's not about like these big action pieces where there's this big war and gunfights and stuff. It's more like you just gotta survive.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's literally just about survival, honestly. But so after that they make it out of the trench, and you get kind of like you start to get this a feel for how ruthless the Germans are, kind of. So they make it out of the trench, and they are like in the back of like this German's artillery kind of thing, and they have a whole bunch of big giant ass fucking, I don't know, what were those, like missiles or
shells?
Yeah, they were like shells, like artillery shells. And they mention it in the movie. One of them mentions just like they fucking broke down their fucking artillery or some shit like that. They literally were like, they took apart like their own artillery just so the Americans couldn't use it against them.
The British.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, the British.
Yeah.
And that kind of continues to carry on throughout the movie. Like they killed the cows.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
They killed the cows. Yeah. They literally, Germans were so fucking ruthless. They do not want the British to live
it's super
whatsoever.
Smart, it's super smart.
But like I said, it goes back to the attention to detail, the creativity that Sam Mendes put into this movie.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because I remember even Skull mentioned it in the film. And I didn't catch it till the second time, but they destroyed the artillery and they destroyed the trench. Yeah. So they made them, or the British, go into the cave where they had the traps, which is super smart. Like
it's super smart, but they did like that goes back. Germans want them fucking dead.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh man.
That's war, man. That's war.
So, in this moment, we get a good sense of acting between the two. Skull is like so fucking mad at Blake
because he chose him.
Yeah, because he chose him. Like,
almost died.
Why'd you choose me?
Yeah, I almost died.
Yeah, I almost fucking died.
He had dust in his eyes.
Yeah, dude.
And he's like, he literally used up all his water just to wash up his eyes. And then Blake was like, "Here,
just take some.
Just take mine.
Just take mine." Which like goes back to that camaraderie feeling and that brotherhood.
Right.
And so this is where we kind of get a good development and like a good understanding of who Blake is. Despite like the tragedy this went through, Blake still decides like, I'll tell a story, tell a funny story, you know.
Right.
And this kind of this scene right here kind of hit home to me because my dad would always tell me stories about his friend Charlie when he was in the army. Like they were best friends, and he would always like crack fucking jokes with my dad. Like it just going back, just like, you know, that's like, you don't really know too much about that person, but like that person like is what can be the difference maker in like how you feel that day, or like
how you get alive.
Yeah, how you stay alive and like how you're getting through it. Like you could just kind of feel that between Blake and Skull.
Definitely.
You know, and like you know, like you knew they just wanted to be there for each other, and you could tell Blake was just trying to, you know, cheer up Skull from getting his shit rocked.
Yeah.
But you get a good sense of who they are, and it kind of lightens the mood.
It does.
It lightens
after that exhilarating.
Well, that's the thing, though. It lightens the mood to set you up for the scene, the next scene.
After, yeah. True.
That's another good thing that Sam Mendes does. Is that he makes sure you're warm-hearted before you know.
Yeah, it's like a balance.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah, it goes from really exhilarating.
Yeah,
crazy scene.
Because you always like, you can't just have someone fucking die and like expect, you know,
like back to back.
Like you can't just like kill someone, expect the crowd to feel it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to build that storyline up.
Build it up and let it breathe afterwards.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which was very good because we're coming off of a scene where we see how good of a person Blake is. He helped Skull out.
Skull almost died.
Yeah, Skull almost died. He gave him his fucking water.
True.
Which is very essential at this time because most of the water is contaminated there.
And they don't have water.
Yeah, they don't have fucking water.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get a sense of him by telling the story of rats eating some dude's ear off in the trenches, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And just they let it settle for a little bit, and this is a big pivotal moment in the movie.
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
But yeah, also adding to that little light moment about the story, they did talk about like the cherry blossoms too.
Oh yeah, and they talked about his mom.
Yeah, and they talked about his mom and his brother and how they used to pick the fruits and in his garden. So that was another like not only a character moment, like you know how like innocent he is and like you know he just wishes
he's just a good guy.
Home. Yeah, exactly.
He's just a good guy.
He's just a normal dude and just wants to go back to his family.
Yeah, he cares about his mom, and his family,
his brother. So that's like another light moment, and the fact that like it's a beautiful moment too because like this is when like you see the trees and stuff, and then it transitions to the barn.
Yep.
And so the trees are outside the barn, and the barn looks abandoned, but they're like
they're not sure yet.
We gotta make sure. And this is when it transitions to another tension scene, and throughout the movie, you know, it builds this tension. You really don't know what's gonna happen next.
Exactly.
Especially because you just come off a scene where you almost killed the dude, so you're like what can happen next at this point? Like there's probably someone in that barn.
And throughout the movie, like I was so concerned about them. Like every single scene, the first time we watched it was like, I feel like there's gonna be someone hiding somewhere.
Exactly.
Or you're looking in the background, like it's for this scene specifically. There's a ridge of the grass, and I'm just thinking like, dude, like what if there's a German just fucking pops up over there?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
I'm looking in the window of the barn.
Yeah.
I'm looking everywhere. Like I'm just like thinking like, dude, something's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Like that's what I was thinking throughout the movie. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So they go in the barn and they're like, yeah, we'll split up. I'll go in the front. I'll go back. And you know, you just feel this tension as they're just walking slowly into the barn. Outside the barn, they're just watching. And you, like
they go in.
Nothing. No one's there.
But Sko sees a picture of a girl, I think, of a little girl.
Yeah.
He sees a picture of a little girl on the ground. I don't know if that like. Oh wait, we're missing another big part before all of this. Whenever we get a good sense of Sko, whenever he gets rid of his medals.
Oh yeah. They're when they were walking from.
Yeah, when they were walking. So after Blake tells the story of the rat, Blake asks Sko like what he did with his medal because apparently
he lost it.
Yeah, Sko has a medal for probably honor, I guess. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And Sko says he gave it up for wine.
Yeah. First he said he lost it.
Yeah.
But he didn't really mention it later until Blake mentioned it again. Like, wait, why did you lose it? Like, I traded it.
It just kind of just shows like the kind of. You get that from Sko off the rip. It's like he's kind of just like this badass kind of
he's more realistic.
Not too like he's like a I don't know what the right word to say is.
I'd say Blake is more like
serious.
Blake isn't he's like serious but like very loyal to like the cause, I guess.
Yeah.
And like he's like very optimistic while as Sko is very realistic and he's like, this ribbon this medal isn't really
worth anything
to me. It's more like just a piece of tin.
Yeah.
And I just want to survive,
Yeah, he's like just talking about like, this medal isn't worth anything if I'm gonna die. Basically,
right,
it's basically what he's getting at. It's
yeah.
not gonna mean anything to me if I die.
Yeah, but Blake was like, you're gonna go back home. Like he's very optimistic. Like, you're gonna go back home and your family's gonna see it. Yeah. But is that gonna happen?
Yeah. So after they go into the house, they see nothing's in there. There's no food, no nothing. The camera pans onto Blake and follows him. Oh no, sorry, Sko. And Sko goes into this kind of like shedded barn area. Yeah. And we get a sense of like life out there. So we hear a cow moo, and Skull finds some milk.
Yeah, but one thing to know, it's only one cow.
Yeah, it is only one cow. The rest of them are dead.
You can see their bodies.
Yeah, and so Skull fills his little container up with some milkies, and this is when a big thing happens. So a German plane.
There's like a dogfight.
Yeah, they call it a dogfight. It was two British versus one German plane, and they're fighting in the background of Skull and Blake.
They're just watching it.
Yeah, they're just watching it, and the British planes take out the German plane, and then that's whenever the plane.
It's a great shot.
So
you just see it.
Yeah, you just see them fighting in the background. And the plane like coming down, it's
like very far away.
Yeah, it's like, and then right on that ridge that I was talking about earlier, plane comes back up, and they're coming right at Skull and Blake. Fucking great.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That was great. I don't know how the fuck they pulled that off.
God. Yeah,
that was great.
Now you think about it, how did they do that?
Yeah, how did they do that? Because like that plane was really close to Skull when he was running back.
That's true.
That was pretty fucking scary.
It has to be all visual effects.
Yeah, it has to be visual effects, but it looked real.
Yeah,
it looked real. Especially after a movie like that. Like it doesn't really seem like there's visual effects in the movie. So, the plane crashes into the barn, and they both Skull and Blake get the German guy out of his plane
because it's on fire.
Yeah, and like we said, you know how good of a person Blake is. He's like, "Oh, go get him water," while Skull is like, "Let's just end him out of his misery."
Yeah,
you know. So, Skull, you know, follows Blake's orders, and he gets some water. And as that happens, you hear in the background, it's just like, no, what are you doing? And then Blake gets fucking stabbed.
Yeah, like it's cool how the camera did it, because it's just on Skull, and you hear that in the background. And he turns around, and as he turns around, there's a fucking knife inside Blake. Yeah.
It was a sad fucking moment.
And then this is when Skull like takes out his gun. He's like,
popped his head.
Like, holy shit. And then,
yeah, bitch.
And then he walks up to, or runs up to Blake. And Blake's like, no.
Blake's like taking off his stuff.
Yeah, because he's like, he got stabbed.
And he's like, oh no.
Yeah, dude, the way he was acting, man.
That's a good scene where
very powerful, yeah.
Very powerful acting right there. Because you're getting someone who's a good person. Very good. He wanted to help the German guy out. Yeah. And this fucker stabbed him, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know how they did it, but Blake's face started to turn pale as he was dying.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that.
Probably visual effects.
Yeah, it was probably visual effects, but I don't know how the fuck they did that.
Yeah, but like, no, like blood was like pouring out of him.
Yeah, blood was pouring out of his tummy.
Yeah, the way he was reacting, he was just like, he was screaming. He was like, Skull was trying to get him to stand up to stop the bleeding.
And he couldn't do it. He was like screaming.
No, put me down.
He's like, put me down.
He's like, get a doctor, come back for me.
He's like, oh, just go, I'll catch up.
Yeah. he's like literally like dying.
Yeah.
Like his last, like,
he's just like,
he can't even think straight.
Yeah, he can't think straight. He forgets how that happened at one point.
Yeah, he forgot what happened.
He's like, just talk to me. It was so sad.
He's like, oh, I got hit.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you got stabbed.
And then he looks at like a picture of his family that Skull takes out of his chest.
It's all bloody too.
It's all blooded up. Everything is blooded up. And you can tell Skull is sad as shit.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do? Because I remember like when he was like, so they were trying to pick him up like 3 times.
Yeah,
he couldn't do it. He kept like falling on the Skull, and then Blake was like, "Oh, I'm hit.
Yeah,
am I dying?" And Skull like was silent for so long. Yeah, he's like, yes, I think you are. And like he didn't know what to say.
That line kind of hit hard.
It was really tough.
It was a very emotional scene.
And as that's happening, more blood spilling out. He's turning pale. Skull doesn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
And then eventually they actually killed off Blake. And I didn't expect that at all. I thought they were gonna like save him.
But the way they killed him off though.
Yeah.
So Blake. Oh, Darren. So Skull and Blake. They're both. So Skull's just holding Blake's wound, and just to put the pressure on to stop the bleeding.
Right.
And Blake's like, just talk to me. And Skull tries to talk to him. Make him feel any better.
Yeah, he's like, we'll get your brother.
And he's like, and then Skull doesn't say anything at the beginning, but then Blake was like, he's like, just tell me you know the way. And then that's whenever Skull, starts saying, I'm going to go to, what was that town called? Acoust?
Acoust.
He's like,
yeah.
I'm gonna go southeast into Acoust. I'm gonna go into the woods. Blah blah blah. And as he's saying that, Blake dies.
That's when he dies. Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't like a typical fucking Iron Man scene where the camera's just on him, on Iron Man, and he dies. Like it's gonna happen.
Right.
But
it's not like a big pause.
Yeah, it wasn't a big pause or anything. I like the way that
it's very realistic.
I like the way that
that's probably what would happen
because this hit harder.
Yeah, it's not like you're super silent. You're trying to like save him.
You're trying to make him feel better, and he dies in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard. It was hard to watch.
Very sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult to watch. It was very good acting, though.
It was very good. Yeah. From both parties.
From both parties, for sure.
Very good.
And then that's whenever some British like reinforcements kind of came in.
Yeah, and I really like that. We'll get to it later, but like, or in a little bit. But like, Sko is like, this is like a switch kind of flipped in Sko.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh shit, like I have to carry on this mission.
Yeah,
and that's when
because he has to do it.
Yeah, and that's what he's like about to bury him, and then that's when some British kids were like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah,
they're
hey,
like so casual.
Doing? Yeah,
it's like, oh shit, like there's a dead body. He's like, hey, help him out.
Hey, help him out.
And then there's the general comes say like, hey, was he your friend?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, and he tells him his mission. He's like, okay, just hop on a truck. They go to the truck, and it's a truck full of like other British soldiers,
mm-hmm.
and they're just so casually chilling.
Yeah,
and I really like how like they do that because it just paves over
mm-hmm.
Blake's death because it was such a big moment in the story, and then they just pave over it, and it's kind of like a message.
It was like that.
Yeah,
it was like that too.
And they didn't really care either.
Yeah,
you're like, oh shit, another dead body.
Yeah, you didn't like. There wasn't much time for you to think about Blake's death.
Yeah,
there was a small moment where you can see that Sko's sad as shit and about to cry,
mm-hmm.
and that's whenever the boys come in and they help him, and Blake is just sitting there. He's just staring at. Sko's just sitting there next to Blake.
Yeah,
just like
what just happened?
Just thinking about it all. Yeah. And this general was just talking so casually to him and trying to get him to get up.
Right.
But it's like, how would you even do that if you were in that situation? How could you even get up when your best friend just died? It's just like that's such a sad moment, and he just has to keep going. Yeah, so he just has to move. It's
such a realistic thing.
Because you got to remember, they're in a time frame. Sko's in a time frame now.
Yeah,
he's got to go.
Oh, true.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah,
which leads to the next part.
Yeah, that's when he gets in the truck, and all the other soldiers like didn't really even know what happened,
mm-hmm.
and they were just like super casual, they're like
talking, telling jokes.
Yeah, they were like,
and then the truck gets stuck in the mud.
Oh yeah, and then this is when, I said, like
you get that fire.
Yeah, because Sko like knows he needs to go.
Yeah, you get that fire in him,
but you don't feel that urgency from the rest of them. So
mm-hmm.
he's like, "We gotta push the truck out," and he's like trying to push it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay, everyone, get out.
Get out.
Yeah, he's like yelling at him.
All right, come on.
All right, come on, help him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then some of them don't help him because of their ego.
Yeah.
And Sko is just fucking pushing that. She's like,
yeah,
he's like trying his hardest to push it out.
His face is about to burst.
Yeah, his face is about to burst. You can see like his face.
You see his veins.
Yeah, his face is just tense the fuck up.
Yeah.
He's like, everyone help. So then eventually they all come and help.
Yeah.
But then that's whenever the boys in the truck realize like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he's like, what?
Like
he's on a mission.
Yeah, like this guy's like what did he go through?
Right.
Is probably what they're thinking.
Yeah, and then once they finally got the truck out, that's when they ask him,
mm-hmm.
like, oh, like
because they're all just staring at him.
Yeah, like why are you such in a rush?
Yeah,
like,
because they probably haven't dealt with anyone who like has that fire and urgency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably haven't even had like a big battle yet.
Yeah, they probably haven't gone through too much yet.
Yeah.
And so then Sko tells them what his orders were. Some dude hands him some alcohol.
Yeah.
to ease the pain, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's whenever they get to Acoust.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, right.
The bridge to Acoust.
Yeah, exactly.
The bridge is broken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either he stays on that truck.
And they go on a detour.
They go on a detour, or he just runs straight through that thing. And obviously he didn't know there was any Germans there, but he decided not to go in the truck.
Yeah, because he had to go.
Yeah, he had to go. So he says bye to like the colonel dude, and he like gives him like a couple like lighted words. He was just like, don't let it
a really cool line that he said was like, when you talk to General McKenzie, make sure there's witnesses.
Oh yeah,
because some men just want to fight.
Mm-hmm. Like it shows his character development.
You definitely see the fight, like the general's wanting to fight at the end.
Yeah,
like he's trying to call out the fight, which is spoilers for later. But he's trying to call out the fight. He's like, nah, we gotta go.
Yeah.
But that's a really good line for sure.
He had like not too many lines, but they were very important.
Yeah.
He said something about Blake too, not like specifically, but it was like, don't let it get too past you or some shit like that.
Right.
Don't let it get. Basically, he's just like, he just doesn't want Blake's death to ruin his drive right now.
Yeah, because he has to make it.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah.
And so, shut your ass up. So
fucking Siri.
Fucking Siri. So they go through, or the boys leave them. The British boys leave them.
Right.
And Blake has to pass. He has to go onto the bridge that the Germans destroyed. And he has to get past a little body of water because, who knows how deep it is.
Yeah.
And that's whenever he starts getting popped.
Yeah, he's like climbing the bridge right now. He's like on the railing of the bridge, like
and I start to get anxiety.
Yeah. Like as he's like on the bridge, like on the railing, that's when he gets shot, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
And it was a loud shot too. Yeah, it was realistic as shit.
So this is where he jumps onto the other side, then gets on like on like the right side of the
bridge,
so he doesn't get shot,
so he can climb up.
And then like literally shots like hit the bridge instead of him.
Yeah, like there was like a point where it hit the bridge and his face was right next to it. Yeah, that was some real intense ass shit.
And they were really loud gunshots. Like
they were really realistic, loud gunshots. Even my dad said that. My dad was saying how realistic those gunshots were. Oh man, it was pretty it was scary. It was. I'm not gonna lie, it was scary.
Whenever there was like real danger, like you really felt it.
You felt it, like I don't know, like something about like it just like vibrated the fuck out of your body. Like you could feel it, like it scares the shit out of you. It pops and scares the shit out of you. Yeah. So that was our second sense of like a gunshot, but that was the one time where we really felt danger towards Sko.
Yeah.
So he goes under the bridge.
Yeah, he gets on the other side, ends up under the bridge.
And then he goes into this like staircase kind of, and the German tries to pop him once.
Yeah, he's already watching that like opening. So he's
this is the part that I got scared. I really thought he was about to get headshotted, bro.
Yeah, it was super close.
Because it's just like, first of all, he's just peeking the same corner that like the German knows where he is.
Right.
So I was like, bruh, like you're really about to get popped, bro. He knows where you are.
He has a high ground.
He has a high ground, bro. He knows where you are.
Yeah.
Like he already saw you try and peek your head once. Like, why would you re-peek, bro?
Definitely.
Like, why would you re-peek?
One thing I noticed in Sko when he was like shooting back at the other dude, like he would, as he's getting shot,
take his breath.
Yeah, he would like compose himself.
Yeah.
And then peek to where he could like actually aim.
Yeah.
Instead of like just like freaking out and just shooting like randomly.
Yeah, just go fucking crazy.
Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah.
It shows that he's like trained.
Exactly.
It shows how like his mental state.
Right.
And so yeah. He breathes, takes one big breath, and then he turns around and pops the German in the top.
And you don't know it at the time, at the first time you're seeing it. So like he shoots, and then the German just stops shooting back. So what he does, he keeps shooting as suppressive fire. And
so he can
starts
move up.
pushing in. Yeah, exactly.
And then he gets into the little house.
Yeah.
Or church, whatever it is. And then he goes up the stairs.
And he's going hella slow.
Yeah, he's going super slow, being super quiet.
You don't know what's going on.
And you get the fucking anxiety picking up again. And it's a dark environment too. It's dark roomed. And he opens the door. I don't know if he kicks it yet. He
peeks it.
He peeks it first, and then he opens it completely, and he gets popped.
Exactly. Yeah,
but he pops him back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he falls down the stairs, and it cuts to black. And this is like at least more than halfway through the movie, but
yeah, it is.
This is whenever your favorite scene happens. Yes. My favorite scene happens.
Yeah. So what happens is like, since he got shot, I think he got shot in the helmet, so his helmet. So it saved him. Yeah, it saved him, but he doesn't have a helmet anymore.
So he hit his head. And
he hit his head out. Yeah, hit his head on the stairs as he falls. And the screen cuts to black, and I found it interesting that they cut it to black because, it's a one-shot film.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they put a cut in the middle. But it kind of makes sense because he knocked out. And then how are they going to show like the passage of time afterwards without doing that? So I think it was really smart the way they did it. Actually, we're going to take a break real quick. Okay. I got to switch the battery.
Okay.
So, hi guys, we're back.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry, I had to switch out the battery in my camera. I didn't want to get cut out when I was in the middle of the conversation. So
Schlate.
Yeah. So welcome back. But where we left off was
gets knocked out.
Yeah, this is when it cuts to black. And he wakes up at night.
Yep.
So he wakes up and
I'm getting chills thinking of the scene.
So like he's God, this is like so it's like pitch black. So it's like super dark. He wakes up, his watch is broken, he's like, what the fuck just happened, right?
Yeah.
It's like hella dark.
Doesn't know what the fuck happened.
Like what time is it? Like it's hella dark. And he's like crawling up the stairs. And the camera's just panning up. And like as he's crawling, like you see his hands just like coming up and up. And then you see and it zooms in towards the door where he got shot.
Wow.
And there's like this window and it's like orange outside. Like what is there a fire? There's the dead German there, and what it fucking does is it pans in
and it's a slow pan.
It keeps going. It keeps going through the fucking window. Goes in. You see the whole city. It's pitch black. It's on fire. There's flares coming up, and then fucking Sco's at the bottom pops up, and the camera goes all the way down to Sco, and it just goes.
So it just went through the fucking window.
It literally went through the window. Down the fucking Sco outside. I
did really like the cinematography in this part. A thing that I also really enjoyed was the music.
Yes, we didn't even talk about the music yet.
Yeah.
Like the music really makes this movie.
Yeah. Like for this scene specifically because it's just like it just made it look so good. It made it look better for no reason. Like the music made it look better.
It's so like an epic moment because like the music's just fucking loud.
Yeah.
And he's just running through the city, and it's pitch black. All you see is like a fire in the background, so it's like kind of orange, and then these flares just shooting out. That's like the only source of light.
But no, like at the beginning though, when it's panning through the window.
Oh yeah,
it had like that. It was like that beautiful music,
right? And it's like,
but it was looking at a city that was beat to shit, and there's flares flying over.
Yeah,
there's a fire in the background.
That's a good point.
It made the scene feel better. That's what I liked about the soundtrack in this movie. It made every scene that there was music playing sound better or look better and feel better.
It did,
which made like. That fucking scene with the fucking camera goes through the window and made that come off
even more of a beautiful moment. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But this scene was amazing. Fucking amazing.
It's my favorite shot.
It could possibly be the best cinematography I've ever seen in a movie ever.
Definitely.
This scene specifically.
Definitely.
A lot went into this scene too, but I'm gonna wait till we're done talking about the plot.
Okay.
But
yeah, so,
fuck, man, this scene was great.
Got it. Goes through the window, it follows Schofield now, or Schofield, and then Schofield.
And he just takes a moment to look.
Yeah, he's just like, wow, like what the fuck?
Yeah, like what in the fuck? Where am I?
And then he's like walking.
And then a flare pops.
Not a flare pops, and then he gets shot too. Like there's like a fucking gunshot right in front.
Because they're using the flares to see if there's anybody in there. Because it's so dark.
Yeah, and the flares are what makes this scene really beautiful cinematography wise is like. The flares are the only source of light besides the fire in the background. So it
gives off hella shadows.
Yeah, so it's like
the shadows,
hella shadowy or hella overexposed. And then it like say a flare goes down, it's like pitch black.
Yep.
It's like it's only source of light, and it's like super creative. Like I would have never thought of that.
Never in my life thought of that.
Like, and it feels so like natural. It doesn't feel really like artificial at all. Yeah.
Doesn't feel faked.
Yeah.
Dude, it was great.
God.
It was amazing.
That's like there's so many highlights though. Yeah. But like it's a really high point in this movie.
Yeah, because who would have ever thought to use flares as a source of light like that? Like that.
Like the only source of light.
Like the only source of light like that. It's and the way they did it and they made it look fucking amazing.
Yeah, and he's just running through the city because he's getting shot.
But before he runs, a flare pops up and he just runs to the side and falls on the floor because he's like trying to see where he's getting shot at.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just prone on the floor. And then once it goes dark, he fucking books it. He fucking books it. And like the camera's in front of him. It's just like it's just not following him, but like he's running towards the camera.
Yeah.
There's flares going off and shit, bro.
Yeah.
Woo!
Man.
Woo!
It's insane how like it went from like this church scene to through the window from behind him, and then he goes on the side and it goes transitions to in front of him.
Exactly.
And so seamlessly.
And then this is my favorite part. I do like the running, but I like this part almost as much as the running, where he gets past the long road without any cover. Like there was no cover for him to really go.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was kind of beat to shit. And he finds this wall that he hides on. He gets to the wall. It's black. He's like fucking panicking. He's like, and then the fucking flare pops up, and it's just like it just focuses on him on the wall. He's just like staring at the flare. Oh, that part was good, dude. That part was good, man.
And like that's a good point that you mentioned. Like he was just panicking because like he's literally like running for his life. It's like
he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah. He's the only one there.
Yeah, he's the only one there. He's in a fucking town full of Germans. They're using flares, and he's getting shot at constantly.
Exactly.
It's scary.
You don't even know where it's coming from.
And he doesn't know where the hell it's coming
it's
from,
fucking
bro.
pitch black, dude.
Yeah. And so he's
running.
He runs and he kind of simmers down a little bit. He gets to this pathway.
Oh, yeah.
He's walking in. It's a dark pathway. Yeah. The flares stop. The flares stop, and it's just this big ass house just burnt down.
Yeah, it's like burning right now.
It's burning, and I like this
orange.
scene too.
This is
a great shot too.
Yeah.
It's just his silhouette, burning fucking fired house in the background, and he's just like staring at it.
And then it transitions
can't get any better.
And then it transitions to a dude. Oh, actually, first it's in a fucking archway. So like you see the archway first, and then it pans and it follows him, and then you see the whole house being in flames, and it's just orange, so it's like it's just silhouette. It's like it's beautiful. It's like one of the best shots.
One of the best shots.
Probably the best shot.
Honestly.
Yeah. And then
it was beautiful.
And then it somehow transitions to some action scene because as that silhouette's happening, it focuses on some figure that comes out in the background, like right next to the house,
across the street.
Yeah, and Sko is like looking at him because like, you know, what?
Yeah,
who is this?
Fuck is this guy?
Yeah, who is this?
And he thought he was a good guy.
Yeah, because he didn't really react to it.
Yeah, because the other guy didn't react. And Sko can't knows who he is.
Yeah, because
it's a silhouette. It's too dark. And
then the silhouette starts running at him.
Yeah, he starts trying to pop him.
And then like he's like hella close, like a couple feet away, and he like bop.
Yeah, and he missed, bro.
Yeah, he missed really bad.
Fucking dog shit aim, bro.
So yeah, it turns out it's a fucking German.
Yeah. So then they run for their lives.
Yeah.
For his life.
Sko's running.
And he's in another like what was that?
It's like a path.
Yeah, it's like a little pathway, but it was the same one. What did you say it was?
Like an archway?
Yeah, it was like another archway.
Yeah, it was.
And he was running through it, and the German's just trying to pop him through the
and he's hella close too.
Yeah, he's literally like 3 feet away from him.
Yeah.
And he's just running on the side, just trying to pop him through the arches, the little holes in the arches, and he's just like missing everything.
Yeah.
And he gets right behind Sko, and they're just fucking running at each other. And the German fucking slips and eats shit. Yeah. And then this is whenever Sko like he's escapes. Like he makes like a good decision. He just like goes into this little like hole in the wall.
Side, yeah.
Yeah, in the wall. And it turns out he finds his baby mama.
Yeah, so when he escapes, he ends up in a house, and inside the house is a French girl because they're in France right now. So yeah, it's a French girl, so they don't even speak the same language.
But he kind of understands.
He knows a little bit of French, I guess. So like the girl is hiding, and Sko's like, it's just me. I'm friendly.
Yeah.
Like I'm part of the Allies, or it's probably not even Allies. And anyways, but yeah, he's like, I'm a good guy. I'm not a German. But you know, she can't really understand it because she doesn't know English that much. So they're like saying like these words, like he knows like a little bit of French, so they're saying words. I forgot what they were, but he's like, you know,
he's just trying to prove that he's
He's like, yeah, I'm friendly. And he this is when he feels his head, and it's because he fell earlier on the stairway. His head's bleeding. He's like cracked open right now. So she's like, oh, you know, I could fix that. So sit down. And you know, so he's just sitting. She's like fixing him up, and it's like a really like intimate moment. Yeah. In the film, it's like the only intimate moment too. Like you know, this is like a break between all the action. Like, you know, you finally get like some sense of like life outside of war. Yeah, relief, and that's life outside of war. Like, you know, this, you know, it could be like what it is like at home, like with your
it just
wife.
comes back to like human interaction,
exactly,
like, without no fighting,
right,
without any violence.
That's why this scene's like
exactly
beautiful. Yeah, it's like really important.
It just comes back down to human nature, you know, family.
Yeah,
in a way, even though that isn't
his family. Yeah,
but it refers to that.
Yeah, exactly. It could be.
Yeah, it could have. Like, he almost did it.
Could be.
He almost did it. You know,
she wanted him to,
because they looked at each other, and I thought they was gonna kiss.
Yeah,
but I don't know why they would. But like
they wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't know why they would kiss, but like I thought he was about to do it. I thought he was about to pull it off.
That's a good point, because they have this small human interaction. If you think about like this French girl, her town was overrun by the Germans, so like you know, she probably hasn't seen a friend in like very long time. So like she's been hiding. Yeah, so like she's so desperate, like not in that way, but like she's like, you know, I need. She just hasn't had anything. Yeah, I need someone like here with me to help me. Like I'm scared for my life. Yeah, and the fact that she has SCO now, like she was like trying to like beg him to like stay. Yeah,
that part kind of sucked. It was kind of sad.
Yeah, and like
I want to know what happened to her.
Right,
like, afterwards.
True, and you know like SCO like was tempted to, because this is like a fucking break from
because it seemed like he was very like, I don't know, family not oriented, but it seemed like he really cared about the idea of a family, and like little kids. Yeah, and so after they have that kind of scene where he's like thanking her, he hears like a baby cry. Yeah, and then that's really whenever the baby mama pulls out the baby.
Yeah, that was really good, because like you didn't even know,
and then everything adds up, right?
Yes. So the details.
So he or she shows him the baby, and he's like, he's being a nice guy. He's just like, just take all my food, take everything I have, and she's like, she needs milk or something like that. Hey, turns out my man got some milk from that farm earlier when Blake died.
So he gave him,
and he gave her all the milk. Gave her everything.
And before that, he was trying to make conversations like, oh, like what's her name?
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a really cool detail. Like I didn't even really notice it the first time, but like the girl didn't even know. It's like, I don't know.
She didn't know, bro.
He's like, where's the mom?
I don't
know. It's like not my baby. Yeah. But I have to take care of it. You know, because
you can't just leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, and like I mean, it pretty much is hers now. But like, think about like behind like what happened to that baby. Exactly. Like, did the mom die? Like when the Germans took them over?
The town is completely blown up.
Exactly.
The town is completely blown up. So like, obviously, I can see why they would not include that. But it's also just like, I wish I had more. You know?
Yeah, but it got the message. Like,
it got the message across.
That was enough. Like,
it was enough. But I wish I had. Like, I knew. Like, obviously, you can't just go back in time and like, you know.
Right.
But
no, I'm glad they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, because they didn't need to like beat over the head like with a flashback or something.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't need to. But it would be good to know what happened.
but yeah, no, I like the way they handled it.
They handled it good. They handled it good. But yeah, it just showed how much of a family, like a good person SCO is.
Yeah, because he was
just like that type of guy that he is. Yeah. He started singing for the baby. I 100% forgot he sang to the baby.
I almost cried in that moment.
Yeah, it was a sad moment.
Yeah,
because he's literally like giving like his heart out to this little baby, and
in the middle of a war.
In the middle of a war, after he just got fucking shot at.
Yeah, there's like this small sense of humanity.
Yeah,
within
that's a good way to put it. Humanity, and that's not what we got through the whole entire movie. Obviously, everything felt very inhumane,
very dark,
and this was a good kind of relief point. And like lightheartedness, and just felt good,
and a good inflection point too.
Yeah, a good inflection point.
Because he's like fighting for his life, and like
he cares about other lives.
Yeah, not just that, but like because he's like fighting for it. Like he's such in this like dark like situation, and the fact that he got that like low sense of humanity is like it's just like it's such like a different thing for the like in his character or something. But so what happened next was he's like, you know, taking care of his baby, you know, trying to sing to it, and he's like, the baby mom notices like, oh hey, like, you know, you're really good with these kids or with the kid, and this is like he's really enjoying the moment and really like pouring his heart like he mentioned earlier, but then he kind of something switches on him. Oh yeah, no, he heard like a bell ring, and so what that meant is like, oh, it's morning,
Mm-hmm.
And like,
oh yeah, he heard the clock.
Yeah, you heard the bell. She's like, "Oh crap, it's morning. Mm-hmm. I have a mission to go to. I still have to make it in time."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh crap, I gotta go." He's like grabbing his stuff and all that, and then the lady in French, like barely able to like tell him like she's like telling him like you know you have to go, and then she uses English finally like stay. And he's like, "I can't. I'm sorry."
That part
like
hurt.
she was like, he wanted to too. Like he wanted to like, take care of this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like not leave her behind, but he had to.
Yeah.
Because he had to save all his
the other
his mates.
people,
Yeah.
That part hurt.
It was
that part kind of hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. It did hurt. Oh, I want to see it again.
I do want to see it again.
God.
But like the fact that she was begging him to stay, it just
that hurt.
That fucking hurt my heart.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. She's like literally alone.
She's literally alone with a baby, and she's in the middle of a fucking town that are ran by Germans.
Yeah.
She could die any day. Exactly. Like literally, it
or
probably would not be that hard to find her.
Yeah, especially with a baby.
Yeah,
crying.
with a baby crying, it's just like that idea of like her dying hurt. Like the idea that he has to leave her and give the Germans any possibility of finding her kind of fucking sucked.
Right.
But the man's go is he has to do his mission. And I guess in a sense you can see why the mission is more important.
You know, one life over
1,000 lives. Yeah. But the fact that he had to even be in that position kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah, but that's the true
that's the
behind
world.
War,
yeah, that's the world, man. Yeah. But after like literally like 5 seconds after, he runs into some more germs, and like and this is kind of a good shot too because it's still kind of dark out.
Yeah,
and
you can tell like it was morning.
Yeah, you can tell it was morning, but it was still pretty dark. And Skull runs up to this wall, and there's a German in the middle of the street throwing up because he fucking was drinking too much. Mm-hmm. And the German was in a silhouette too, which looked kind of cool. And there was still fire to light up the background, which also made it look even more cinematic. Mm-hmm. And so Skull goes into the building that the German dude was at. He was gonna try and kill him, I think.
Yeah.
And as he was, either sneak past or kill him. And as he was doing that, he goes into the door, and this German literally pops up next to him who just took a piss or some shit.
It turns out there was another dude in the house.
Yeah, and there's another German guy in the fucking house. And Skull just fucking
he like runs him into the wall.
Just runs him to the wall. He's like, shh.
He's like, okay.
Yeah,
he's like, hey.
He's like, hey, get his motherfucker.
So what he does, he tackles him, and then they're like wrestling or tussling, whatever.
Yeah.
On the floor. And so like there's a shot of like, you know, them like fighting on the floor like in the silhouette.
Yeah.
And like in the background you see the drunk German like in the back. You're like, holy crap, is he gonna see like
he them could easily fighting? Just fucking shoot him.
He could really like turn around.
But
and
he's so drunk he doesn't know.
Yeah. So he's just talking to himself like, where's the brandy? And he's like literally his friend is getting choked to death in the background. And
once the drunk German notices that his friend's getting fucking choked,
he's like
he starts kind of wobbling over.
Like, what the fuck's going on?
And then the fucking Skull fucking chokes the German guy out, and he's just like, there's no opportunity, so he just runs.
Yeah.
He's kind of like nudges the drunk German, and just runs past him. As soon as he goes out, another German's there, and he's trying to pop him, and they just get another chase scene throughout the city. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever you kind of start to see the light and day. Yeah. It starts to really be morning time. Mm-hmm. And Skull's just getting popped at from this German dude. And he eventually runs into the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Or he eventually gets past the Coos where he needed to go and into the trees by the river.
Right.
And he jumps into the river to save his life.
Yeah, because he's about to get shot.
Yeah, because he's about to get shot because there's two German guys trying to chase him.
On his ass.
And this was a pretty intense part too, because now he's in rushing river water. Like it's like really rapid. Yeah, it's rapid.
He's like getting tossed.
Yeah, he's getting tossed the fuck around. He's about to drown. There's rocks in the middle that he could easily get hit by, and he kind of just goes into a sequence of that, and then he falls into this waterfall.
Oh yeah.
And then you're like, okay, like there's no way he's fucking alive, bro. Like this fucker just fell down a waterfall, bro.
Right.
And he pops up, and he kind of just floats for a little bit, and he's floating, and then the cherry blossoms start coming in.
That's when it returns.
That was a good That was
cool.
pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was
pretty
good.
cool foreshadowing. Yeah. But what's pretty crazy, like, as he was running through the city before that, and as he's in the rushing river, like how like the one shot still happens, and like they're still chasing him and still tracking on him like perfectly. I remember seeing like BTS, like they had like a motorcycle like following Sko as he's running through the city. Like that's how they pulled those shots off.
But it's weird though. Like you couldn't even hear the motorcycle either.
Yeah, you honestly couldn't tell because it's so smooth.
Yeah.
And then and there's probably like even more like cranes and whatever.
Yeah.
Or like people running, holding cameras, whatever. And I don't know how they even managed to get a camera in the river like that. Because I mean, it looked like a real river, so
it looked like a real river to me. So, I'm pretty sure it was a real river.
Yeah, they probably had like a car on the side, like with a
I think
jib or something.
I don't. They probably did that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty crazy, and it was like super close in his face in the river.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah. And then, so once we get into that good point of the cherry blossoms while he's floating, we get a sense of more death.
Yeah. This is a really cool point.
Fatality.
That I noticed the first time I remember talking about it after we were getting some fire.
First
time. But I really love this moment because
sponsor our video.
Because the cherry blossoms, and then he's like at the very end of the river, so it's not really like rapid anymore. He's just floating, and there's like
things are calm.
Yeah, it's calm, but there's this trunk at the end of the river that stops like all the dead bodies. So I guess the Germans have been like dumping dead bodies in the rivers, and that's where they end up.
Yeah.
So he's like pretty much like crawling out the river, like super like soaked and drenched, like crawling out the river, like next to these dead bodies.
He has to use the dead bodies to crawl out of
like
the
to get out of it. Yeah, it's like these dead bodies are like decayed and like super pale, and like it was
their
like,
mouths were open and shit too.
It was
just terrible.
And it was not only was it super disgusting, but like I thought it was like a really cool character point because like he's literally like crawling out the dead.
Yeah.
Like yeah, because like I mean like he fought for his life throughout this whole journey. And then like he's literally crawling out of like the grave, and then when he gets out, he broke. Like this is like like the breaking point.
Yeah,
and he's like he's had it. He's like on the ground crying, and it was just like he just broke at that point. And it was like a really cool point. Like it's just like how much is he pushing for this mission?
Yeah,
and then what breaks him out of that breaking point was that he heard someone singing. Like, oh, there's people nearby, so he gets up, hella drenched, like water dripping out of him, and he goes into the woods, and that's where he was supposed to go. That's where he's supposed to meet the Devons. And
then he hears some singing.
Yeah, he hears the singing, and there's this group of British soldiers, just huddled around listening to this guy sing
in a circle.
Yeah, and it's this like war hymn. I forgot what it's called, but it's that part was pretty powerful too.
Yeah.
Like, is pretty central theme of like of the whole movie in the war.
Yeah.
So he's just there, just like he like drops on the ground, like listening to this guy.
Yeah.
And it's another thing like similar to the boys at the truck in the middle of the movie. Like everyone there is like super normal. They're like they haven't seen like anything. The real danger.
Yeah, they haven't seen anything.
Yeah, so they're just sitting there like all bored.
Yeah.
Or whatever like.
Just listening to this guy, but like they have no baggage on them.
Exactly. While Sko is like in the back, like fucking dead.
Yeah, he's fucking drained as shit. Yeah, exactly. He's dripping. He's
like hella pale.
On the verge of like death, bro.
Yeah.
And like these people don't know. They don't have that experience. They don't have that baggage on them.
Yeah.
Nothing like Sko has on him.
Exactly. And then when the dude stops singing, like everyone's like back to normal. Like, all right, yeah, we got.
Yeah. All right.
Well, all right.
Time to go, boys.
Like. What's up with this guy?
Yeah.
Hey, where are you from?
He's like, I have to get to the Devons. Where are the Devons?
Where are the Devons?
Howdy, where are the Devons?
Like, you're the Devons?
The Devons?
It was another thing, like, with his facial expression. He's like, fuck, like, you're the Devons.
You're the Devons?
Oh, shit.
Oh, motherfucker.
And he's like, where's Mackenzie?
Yeah, or like, and then he gets that enthusiasm again to go after it.
Yeah, that fire is like crap. I had to get Mackenzie to call off the attack, and it's already happening.
Yeah,
like they already sent the first wave.
Yeah,
so he's like, yeah, we're like the last wave. We're like on the way right now, it's like, oh shit. So they're going, everyone's like lining up into the trench. This is when the music like starts picking up like a ticking time bomb, like
running.
He's looking through it like,
let me through. Oh shit.
Yeah, he's literally like pushing everyone out the way, like let me get through. And like it's a line of people, hella people, and the trench is hella long.
Yeah, it was like a mile long or some shit, more than that, probably
more.
Yeah, but yeah, he's running through them. It's like white fucking sanded or some shit.
Yeah, and like the music is like, you feel the tension, like holy fuck, he has to move.
Yeah, he has to get going, and he just goes through a bunch of people. He keeps talking to like captains. He's like,
where's Mackenzie?
I have an order from the general to stop this mission. They don't fucking believe him.
They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like, just get out of here.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, because I think a lot of it is like, because they're not only do they want to fight, but they're thinking like maybe this dude is like feared for his life, so he's trying to find some excuse. Yeah, exactly.
They think he might go AWOL or something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know? And
it's like, no, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so he keeps running by and he keeps talking to captains, and they give him nothing. And then he gets to this one captain who's crying.
Yes.
He's weeping because he probably knows
he knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, he knows they're going to die.
He's like, Captain, you got to pull it together. Where the fuck is Mackenzie? Yeah. He's like, he couldn't even talk. He was just crying.
And then he finally gets to this one captain.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 3/4 down the trench.
Yeah, he actually listens to me like, what?
Yeah, and he's like, what? And then he's like, kind of comes to realizations like, the only way I'm getting through to him and to get to him in time is if I get out the trench and just run on the side.
He's like, he can't go now because we're about to go.
Yeah,
you have to go after the first wave.
Yeah,
it's like, I can't. I gotta go.
Because if he goes through the trenches, he's just gonna run into hella people and it's gonna
can't get through. Down. Yeah.
So he's like peeking over. He's like looking at like how far the trench is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally gets out the trench, and then the captain's like, "What the fuck you doing?" And then he blows the whistle, you know, to send the troops over.
Exactly.
And then the money shot. This is a shot. Explain this one. Bro.
Okay, so this is. Oh shit! No, gotta record.
You had to record this one.
We're back. We are back.
Jeez.
Welcome back. So this is the money shot. I call it the money shot because this is like the shot that everyone talks about when we talk about 1917.
Yeah.
It's one from the trailers. It's one from that's getting all the social media buzz.
Yeah.
It's a amazing shot.
Shot.
Like, it's crazy to think how they pulled it off.
I don't even know how they got it one shot.
God. Dude. And like, we'll talk about it later, but knowing like the BTS like behind it, like what
course.
took. But so he jumps out the trench. He's on top, and then this is the same time all the soldiers are running out, so he has to run to the other end of the trench, or like along the trench.
Yeah.
So he's running along the trench, like sprinting
full speed,
while explosions are going off, and all the other soldiers are running out the
trenches. Yeah.
And like, he's running into people. He's explosions are
all natural, by the way. He actually ran into those people.
Yeah. It was actual planned. Accidents. Yeah.
Not planned.
And it looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so
like
cool.
The shot was just. It was like this wide shot of just all the soldiers running. This explosions happening. People are dying. People are tripping.
Yeah, people are. Fuck, dude. It was good.
And he's booking it.
He's just like, booking it past everybody.
God, it's like,
and the music. How you mentioned that there was a point in time where the camera went so far that he had to catch up.
Yeah, because they didn't plan for him tripping.
They didn't plan for him to fall.
So you could kind of notice like the camera's still kind of going, and he's like rolling, and he's like, gotta go, and yeah, oh my God. It really is a money shot.
That was a money shot.
It's like, it's such a big payoff.
Very big payoff.
It was just, the whole movie was building up to this moment of him.
And they did it perfectly.
Yes, they did. And then the music was like such an epic,
it was
intense. Like orchestra, like loud music. And honestly, I almost teared up watching it again today.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's
just like, that's just like, it's just the whole culmination of the whole movie. It just builds up to that one big moment. And then he's like running, and like, you know, everyone like in the theater is like silent, like, wow.
It's a great payoff. Like,
it is
probably one of the best payoffs in like movie history, honestly. Like, definitely. It felt like a very good payoff.
Yeah.
And so he finally gets to Colonel Mackenzie. And who the fuck's Colonel Mackenzie, Darren?
Oh my God.
Dr. Motherfucking Strange.
Dr. Strange. Benedict
that part was amazing because it was like the colonel's just like turned around and like he's getting kind of singled out in the shot.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, this motherfucker's got something. Like he's an important character.
Yes.
And he turns around, it's fucking
because
Doctor Strange,
it's
bro.
such a big name in like Hollywood.
Yeah.
So like, wow.
Doctor Strange.
I actually knew he was in the movie.
I didn't know it.
I just forgot.
I did not know that he was.
Because he was in the trailers.
I did not know.
And it was cool because it was building up in this whole scene. It was like building up like, who's Mackenzie? Because there was like he's talking to all these generals like, are you Mackenzie?
Yeah.
No, I'm not Mackenzie. Like whatever.
And then like Mackenzie has these guards outside of his little like.
Oh yeah, right before he gets in.
Yeah, right before he gets in, they're like, "You can't get in here."
Because he's thinking he's just running away.
Yeah, they think he's just trying to stop the fight to prevent death
save
from
himself.
him.
Yeah.
And then he eventually pushes those dudes off, and then he gets inside.
He's like, I got a letter. I have to talk to Mackenzie. You're not gonna talk to Mackenzie. He's busy.
Yeah.
And then he like,
it's a general order.
A general order. And he goes in.
Yeah.
And this is like the thing that the captain earlier from Kingsman that was alluding to, like, make sure there's witnesses around because he might not listen to you. That almost happened. It was really good foreshadowing because like luckily he had like the other generals behind him, and he had that one old dude, like the kind of like assistant
the big nose.
Yeah, the big nose.
Yeah.
He was like, listen, I have a letter. Like, we have to call it the attack. He's like, no, like, and Mackenzie's like, no, we're not calling out the attack.
We already sent the first wave.
Yeah, we already sent the first wave. We have him on the run.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't have him on the run.
This is a trap. And then he's like, but they're gonna tell me like to attack anyways. Like they're gonna tell me attack next week anyways. He's like, I have a letter. Like, listen to it. It's a trap. And he's like, and like the big dude kind of convinces him to like actually read it.
Yeah.
Then he reads it. He's like, fuck. And then he's like,
call it the
attack.
Yeah, call it the attack.
And then like you hear in the background, like you kind of can't believe like it actually happened.
Yeah.
So it's just a shot on Sco. He's like you see it in his face.
He's like,
good acting. He's like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
He couldn't believe it. And then you hear in the background as that's happening, like, call it off. Yeah, the whistles. Yeah. Call it off. Go. Stand down. Stand down.
Yeah. And then that's whenever Doctor Strange has like, not like a sentimental part, but kind of
like a message, I guess.
And he's just like talking about like one day they want us to attack, the next morning they'll tell us to attack, one day they tell us to halt, blah 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 blah. It's like, when are we ever gonna have a good day or some shit like that?
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, I was hoping it was a good day, but it turns out it's not. He's like, hope is so dangerous in war. And then he said this really crazy thing, and it's really true. He's like, no one's gonna win this war. It's like the only way to win this war is last man standing. It's true. There's no strategic planning in this. Like,
yeah, it's true. Really it was just a dogfight.
Exactly.
It was just a dogfight, and afterwards of that, he's like talking to Sco. He's like, did he tell him that he did a good job? That was the other guy. What did he tell him besides fuck off?
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
I don't remember. He's like something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
He didn't really congratulate him because
he didn't congratulate him. He didn't give a fuck.
He's that tough type of general.
He had that ego on him. He's like, fuck off. Like, this Sco. Right,
well, fuck off.
I felt bad for Sco, to be honest, because like, imagine you do all that and you just fucking get the colonel to say fuck off.
That's why I really like too, because like they did with the soldiers on the train or the
trench.
Not the trench. The truck, and then like the other soldiers when they were singing, they kind of just pave over like what Sco just did. Yeah, because like it's just part of war. Death is just part of war. Yep. This whole thing is just part of war. They're gonna tell us to stop the attack now, but they're gonna make us do it next week. Yeah, it's just part of his.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's really subtle, but it's realistic.
But then he eventually talks to Colonel Mackenzie's, I don't know who the guy is.
Like an assistant or something?
Yeah, like an assistant. And he's like, he tells him that Sco did a good job. Yeah. And he's, he was the witness, basically. Right. Yeah. And then afterwards, he gets sent to...
He asked for Blake first.
Yeah, he's like...
this was a powerful moment too.
Do you know where Blake blah 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 is?
He's like, Blake? I think he was with the first wave.
Oh yeah, he's like, I think he was with the first wave.
So you're at this point, you're thinking
you think he's dead.
Yeah, you think he's dead. He's like, then he has this cool line. He's like, where would I find him? Because they think he's dead. Yeah. It's like, well, he'd probably be with all the corpses, or go check out the casualty bay. Yeah. Otherwise, He didn't know what to say. Yeah, he didn't know what to say. Like, he's probably on the fucking trench.
Dead,
yeah, probably in no man's land. And he didn't say anything, and he got called, so he just like dipped. So like that was powerful.
Yeah, and then that's whenever Sko goes on a mission to look for Blake.
Yeah, he's in a casualty bay. He's looking at like the dead bodies to see if like Blake's there, because he thinks he's dead.
Things are getting kind of gross. People are missing parts on their legs and shit.
Yeah, there's holes in his legs.
Everywhere, bro.
No arms.
It's pretty fucking tragic.
Yeah.
And then another payoff hits.
Yeah, another.
So he looks through. He's screaming. He's like, "Is
Lieutenant Blake?
Lieutenant Blake,
where are you?
Is Lieutenant Blake here?"
Yeah.
And then he looks through like three tents.
See if he's in the dead bodies.
And then he eventually gets to,
like the other side.
Yeah, the other side of it all with this grassy trees in the background. You know, kind of a good background, good scenery. And then he stops and pauses, and he looks at this guy.
He hears his voice.
Yeah, he hears his voice. It
kind of sounded like the other Blake.
Yeah, it sounded like the other bro's voice. And then he's like, "Lieutenant Blake." He's like, "Yeah."
That's me.
That's me. Fuck do you want? And
he's like, "I'm with the 2nd or the 8th Battalion."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm with the 8th Battalion." 8th Battalion?
What are you doing here?
Oh, my brother's in the 8th Battalion.
You must know my brother.
Is he here? And then
he's like, he was here.
And then
or he was sent with me.
Yeah, he was sent with me.
Where the fuck is he?
And then that's whenever Blake starts to cry.
Yeah, that's when he breaks the news that he didn't make it. And like it was pretty powerful because like you could tell that the older Blake, I'm gonna call him Richard Madden because that's his actor's name, or Lieutenant Blake. You could tell like he's like trying to hold it in. He's like
he's trying to be manly
he's
about it.
He's like really silent. Like you can see in his face, he's holding it. He's like, "You must be hungry."
He's like, "Go get some food."
Go, like he's like, "Go
just
get
trying
some
to get
food."
him out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
So he can cry.
Yeah.
And then Sko is like he walks away for a little bit and he comes back. He's like, "You know, your brother was a good man.
He saved my life."
He saved my life. And then elder Blake was like, "Well, I'm glad you were with him."
Yeah. He's like, "Can I write to your mom?" Yeah,
and he's like, "Can I?" Because younger Blake asked Sko when he was dying. He's like, "Just make sure to write to my mom."
Yeah.
And so Sko wants to carry that on, and he asks Blake, and Blake says, "Yeah." And I forgot what happened. Did anything happen to that?
As that was happening, he like gave little Blake's jewelry.
Yeah, he gave him the jewelry and dog tags.
Yeah, dog tag. Yeah, he's like holding it. He's like frozen.
Yeah,
like, didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
And that was really great acting from Richard Madden because like, man, like he really felt that moment.
His hand was just stuck.
Yeah, and you can see it in his face too. Yeah. Like he was trying to hold it in. He was like tearing up. And you can see in his mouth like quivering. And
it was a sad scene.
Yeah, and Sko just like didn't know what to do. Like he was just like, he was a good man.
And he walks away and he ends it on the tree where he gets time to relax.
Finally, after this long
just take a
journey.
fucking breath. And James was saying is like the story starts on a tree and ends on a tree. It's like,
oh, that's a good point, James.
It's a sad
James Reyes.
Ambu. But that ends the story.
And it cuts there.
That was
directed by
great
Sam Mendes.
Fucking story.
Is it dedicated to his grandpa?
Every scene had a meaning.
It did. You're right.
Every scene had a meaning.
There's purpose behind everything.
That's why I loved this motherfucking movie. Because a lot of movies don't have that.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of movies have a lot of filler scenes that have no purpose and no point.
Very true.
Everything had a point. Every little thing had a point.
It did.
Which is why I'm like, that's a movie.
Yeah, and it didn't feel
that
convenient.
Is a movie.
Like, it didn't feel like it was connected just to be connected.
Yeah, it didn't feel like no fucking Raylo kiss or nothing. It didn't feel like nothing like that. It wasn't forced.
Raylos.
Nothing was forced.
Yeah, nothing was forced.
That's why I love this movie. It was a great fucking movie.
God.
Fuck.
There's so much to unpack.
Yeah, there's so, okay, obviously me and Darren talked a lot about the plot, but me and him really care about everything that went behind the movie. And the one thing that I really think I love about this movie, of course I love, camera movement, cinematography, the cameras, everything,
right.
The cast, the crew, everything. But the most important thing I like about this movie is the organization, because it took so much time.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, like a one-shot film, there has to be hell planning that goes behind it.
You have to plan all the time.
Yeah, because like you can't, say for a one shot film, say you mess up on one part of the scene, the whole shot's fucked.
Yeah.
The whole scene's fucked. So yeah, you have to literally make it perfect.
You have to make it perfect. And I was watching. And there was they had a lot of time where they weren't filming at all. Because they would be on set, and it's like, if you notice in the movie, it's all cloudy.
Yeah.
It's all cloudy.
I read about that.
And there's a lot of times where it's like, if you let's just say this right now, filming is hard when you base your films on weather.
Yeah,
it's
on
not
natural light.
It's not easy basing it off on natural light, especially when you have to film a fucking movie that requires like 30 days on set. It's like not every day is gonna be easy. Not every day is gonna be gray. Not every day is gonna be sunny. You know, you're gonna have different weather changes.
God, and we know.
Yeah, and this movie had a lot of problems. Like, it didn't have a lot of problems, but like behind it, it had a lot of problems. Where it's like they would be sitting around for days just waiting for it to be, cloudy.
Yeah, and if it's too sunny, harsh.
It's too sunny. It's like you can't fix that in post,
and then you can't film at night because obviously you're relying on sunlight.
Yeah, so. I was watching their behind the scenes, and they had a lot of moments where they're just sitting and practicing. That's another thing that I appreciate is they don't just sit around all day. They use that time to practice,
right?
Which is like, whenever you make a film or anything, you need to organize and practice. You can't just go off the rip because it won't turn out as good as you want it.
Exactly.
This is where you figure out your flaws and you figure out the things that you need to work on. So that's why I appreciate how much Sam Mendes really enjoyed making this film and how organized he was, and all the crew and cast that went along with him. A lot went behind it. A lot went behind it, and I don't feel like that isn't appreciated as much as it should be. Because people like movies that fucking green screen. They think that's organization and shit. This shit is organization. They had to build their own set in the outdoors that was miles long.
All the scenes were like
miles long,
built,
dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Miles long.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it. Every single time they, cut or transitioned, they're dealing with scenes that could be 15 to 20 minutes long. Imagine having to act for 15 or 20 minutes, in one shot, while dealing with shit like explosions and shit like that. That's difficult. Yeah. That is very difficult. To remember as many lines as that, it's very, very difficult. So I appreciate everything that went into this film.
Yeah.
Acting wise, directing wise, screenplay, the writers, all of it.
Everything. Yeah.
Even the cinematographer, because I know he did a fucking great job too with this.
Definitely.
Yeah. He did a great
shout
job.
out to Roger Deakins.
Yeah. You're a fucking stud. You're a stud, dude.
But that's a good point, because to make a one shot film, everything has to be on point. Not
everything.
Everything. You had to have, the choreography down, because they actually had to have a choreography to plan it out.
Yeah.
And he said, I remember reading, I think you mentioned it to me too, that they had to practice for months beforehand to actually get it into memory.
Exactly.
And think about it, 2 hours long of footage to remember.
Yeah.
And it's probably longer than that. They probably had to cut it somewhere. Yeah. But there's probably some deleted scenes somewhere. I don't know how they did it, because it's one shot. Fuck they did but they probably did it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the choreography has to be perfect, the direction to keep that all together, the score, the acting, everything. Literally,
I love it all.
Cinematography has to be planned out. Literally, the sets have to be made perfectly to accommodate for a one shot. To have these motorcycles going in, these cranes going in, all in natural light.
Yeah. It's something you just have to appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. That's
especially being a filmmaker, you have to appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's why, I mentioned earlier, is that's why it's nominated for all these awards, because of that.
It's because they took their fucking time.
Yeah, because the stuff that went behind it. Yeah.
The stuff that went behind it made the movie, honestly.
Yeah, and that's why I think Sam Mendes definitely deserves to be on that nomination list, if not to win it.
I think he should win
because
I think he deserves to win it, bro.
A great director
with his own story.
Yeah,
it's on his own story.
He wrote it too. Yeah, you're right.
It's his own story.
That's right. But yeah, you need to be a really talented director to keep all of that. In check.
Because I would have lost track already.
Oh yeah,
I lost track in the first fucking shot, bro.
I would have been lost. Bro.
I would have been lost, bro. And
It's tough.
That's what inspires me so much. I was telling you, this movie changed the game for making films, and not just films, but war movies.
Yeah, definitely.
It changed the fucking game.
Yeah,
because how the fuck do you make an all one shot movie and make it as good as that, bro?
I know it's such a technical feat.
You
honestly.
just like this, just like shits on all the other like movie companies. It's just like you need to be. I think we need to be making movies that just tell good stories. You know, it just comes down to storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like if movie companies would just take more time into what stories they're putting out,
right?
We can be getting movies like 1917 all the time.
That's true.
Everybody always just wants to rush to make money. I feel like, and I really feel like Sam Mendes did a great job with just taking his fucking time with this shit.
Yeah,
because he knows how important. He knew how important this movie is, bro.
Yeah,
he knew how good that this movie could be with that type of story and how well he could do it.
Yeah,
if everyone was just along with him,
right,
to be there by him on his side.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
it is just crazy.
The amount of planning, that's why it deserves to be on those lists.
It deserves it for sure. Because how do you fucking go from on a truck, bro, to a motorcycle, to running?
Right.
You gotta plan that out, and how do you even plan that out, bro?
Yeah. How do you even think of the idea of all that shit?
I don't know if I could even think of that idea.
Yeah, it's insane.
And shout out, what was the guy's name? Roger what?
Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins, you are amazing.
A god.
He came up with the idea of the flares.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And I was watching that, and they were like, their original plan was maybe we just shoot the flare up,
yeah, see
where it goes. But then they built a little structure with a flashing light on top of it on a rail, and they're just the shot would look better if the light flashes from right to left, because we get more shadows from right to left.
Right.
And fuck, man,
it was perfect.
It was great, but I'm just dude, they really they paid attention to detail. Before they made their set, by the way, they had to dig all that shit. And they had to dig all that shit and create all that shit.
They create all the trenches.
Yep, created all the trenches, everything. Before they did that, they made a structure of it all.
Oh, a small structure.
They made a small structure of it, a model. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That takes a lot of planning.
That takes a lot of planning, bro. You really got to believe in your story in order to do something like that. And I'm just very glad that they did everything the way they did.
Yeah, it's insane.
And
it even got nominated for production design.
Yeah, they better.
Yeah, those sets are...
They better. Man. They made a mile, more than a mile long fucking set.
Yeah.
Who else does that shit? Everyone goes into a studio and uses CGI.
That's true, yeah.
That's why I like this movie so much too, is it's so pure. It's so...
very natural.
It's natural. Yeah, everything's natural. They
create their own sets.
There's only
relied on natural light.
I only there's probably a couple ones that I can tell off the rip were FX, the explosion with Sko in the German trenches, and the one where he falls in the river.
Yeah.
Those ones are the only ones I could tell that were FX.
Yeah.
Everything else seemed
super
real.
Yeah, I did. Very practical, yeah. It's pretty insane. I appreciate
practical movies too.
It's pretty insane, thinking of what went behind that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm just very glad with this movie. I'm just
too,
very, 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 very glad with this movie.
Man, it's just definitely one of the best movies I've seen for sure.
100%.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously I'm leaving out a lot of classics over there, and I haven't even seen all the nominees this year, but this one is very memorable because of the technical aspect behind it, and it really hits home for us because we appreciate films on that level.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just very inspiring for sure.
Very inspiring. We both wanted to make a movie right after this.
Yeah, we were just holy shit! How do you top that, man?
Yeah, how do you top that?
God, we just wanted to make a war movie.
But this also makes me think of gives me the idea of I feel like it could top it, there's this
that inspiring.
The inspiration is just if he could do this, I could do that too.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like how Shawn Mendes just fucking just didn't give a fuck. He just is we're gonna do it like this, and this is how it's gonna get done. I don't care what it's gonna take, how long it's gonna take, we're gonna do this.
Yeah. There's a lot of time I went into this.
Fuck, man. That movie was great.
Man.
Just every shot in the movie was amazing. And
yes,
obviously we don't have access to fucking $60,000 cameras, but
oh my god,
holy Angelina Jolie,
do you remember the budget? I remember we looked it up.
$100 million.
Oh Oh my god.
It was 100 million.
God.
100 million, and they're like at like 200 something million.
Okay.
In revenue, and box office. I mean, so that's pretty good.
That's a lot of money. They made a lot of money off that.
I'm 100% sure most of it went to production design.
Oh yeah,
100%. Because not only did they have to they had to make the acoust with whatever material they made those broken down walls with.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get barbed wire, create trenches, having fucking companies come and build trenches and shit like that.
Like mud and water and everything.
Can't even take into account how many fucking soldier outfits they had to create.
Oh yeah,
they had to create probably thousands of those,
and they looked really authentic.
And they looked real. Yeah, they looked real. So not even thinking about that, like.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's insane.
Just thinking about this, the scope of this movie.
Yeah.
How ambitious it was.
It was very ambitious.
Yeah. I don't know how they pulled it off.
And I just really appreciate it, and I hope that this paves the way for movies moving forward. You know, that
for sure
they need to top one another. You know, like they just need to outdo each other, basically. And so I hope that this. I mean, obviously, we've had some pretty good stories in the recent time, but I just hope that moving forward, storytelling just gets better and better. Right. Because I felt like it was getting kind of stagnant with the superheroes and shit, and I just felt like we need to go like the practical storytelling needs to get back into place and just take off again.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there, but it just hasn't been as good.
Yeah, not as big either. Because I mean, everything that's dominating the box office is superhero movies and sequels, which we love. Like,
of course, we love them.
We love them. Like, we don't hate them.
But you just get kind of tired of looking at movies that are filled with FX.
Sure, yeah.
And
it's hard to tell what's real.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's real, but you can kind of tell.
You could tell, but it turns out like most of it's like fucking fake anyways. Like,
but this
what looks real,
not fake.
Yeah, you can't really tell at all. It looks very natural. Another thing I wanted to mention too is like It's 1917 is kind of getting hated on,
Why?
Like on social media. I know you've seen it too.
I saw that, but it's like, why?
It's kind of getting hate because like, I guess it's bland from what I've seen from a couple arguments, but and I guess I could kind of see that argument. See it. Yeah, the reason why is because like, this film isn't really about like necessarily the story or like the acting. Like the story and the acting is like. It's pretty simple, I'd say. Like, it's a simple premise.
It's a simple movie.
Yeah, but, like, I'd say it's nominated for the technical aspects like we were mentioning before. Like, it is nominated for those. Like, it's not nominated for best acting for a reason.
Yeah.
It's nominated for best cinematography, for best director. It's appreciate. I think me and you kind of appreciate it on that level because, not to sound pretentious, but, like, because, we kind of create films.
Yeah.
Or, like, we
have the idea of what goes behind it.
Exactly. That's a better way to say it. Yeah. I mean, not to knock...
Because not the average person knows what goes behind it.
Yeah, not to knock, like... I mean, there's definitely people our age are more passionate and more knowledgeable about films, but they might be in a different way. Like, they might appreciate it from a writing standpoint, from a screenplay standpoint, which is, what they favor. Exactly. And that's totally fine.
Yep.
But should it knock 1917?
Fuck
like,
no.
Yeah, you kind of have to contextualize why... Like, a lot of people didn't even watch the film.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were knocking Irishman for other reasons too, and they didn't even watch the film. Like, you kind of have to watch these and like it's okay to have your opinion. Like, of course our opinion isn't valid or correct, but like contextualize your argument too,
Yeah. I just feel like I can see why they think this movie's bland. And I can see why they think it's plain.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's more to the story than that.
Yeah.
There's more into the story. There's a reason why it's plain.
Yeah.
And the story kind of, defines
simple.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
simple.
defines that, and it's very simple. And it's meant to be a simplistic story, but it's more a great fucking story.
Yeah, it's more in the details like
there's earlier. More details in the story if you really paid attention to it. And you don't even have to really pay attention to even notice these details.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to pay attention. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
it doesn't really make any sense. Like it does make some sort of sense. I can see why it's plain, but there's just a lot more that goes to it.
Yeah, it's more strength in like its technical stuff and the details and its environmental storytelling. It's not in your face.
I feel like the reason like why people are complaining like it's too bland, too plain, it's because we've come across war movies that are just run and gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Run and gun, get in fights, those type of survival movies. Like, I was raised from movies like we're fucking Saving Private Ryan, Band of the Brothers. Me and my dad would always watch.
Yeah.
What are some other war movies that are?
Those are the big ones for sure.
Those are the big ones for sure, and they're just like there's a lot of run and gun sequences.
Right.
And a lot of people think war, run and gun.
Yeah.
They don't think like this.
Yeah,
okay,
that's true.
So this is what I'm trying to say. When you think of war, you think of like fighting, killing,
big like action, like the big battles,
explosions,
like D-Day, and
all that shit. D-Day,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You think of like D-Day type
like
of things,
like the big battles, yeah.
But Shawn Mendes was thinking beyond that. He was
like
thinking more of a small story, but
Yeah.
had a bigger impact and a bigger picture.
Right.
Which is why this story doesn't compare to those things. And but everyone that we know grew up on those things, those ideas of war, which is why I very appreciate this movie because it goes past just storytelling.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot that goes behind it. I mean, I'm not gonna down them for their argument, but my argument is that this movie does have enough information and enough action and enough everything to make it just as a better war movie as any other war movie.
Right.
In all honesty. So that's just my take.
Yeah, I think it deserves a spot.
I think it deserves a spot too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people don't think that.
I just don't think they've really seen the movie.
Yeah, or they don't appreciate it. Well, I mean, yeah, it's cool like to appreciate it in a different way. Like, like you could favor acting more or whatever, but
a lot of people do that though.
Yeah,
a lot of people favor acting. Like,
yeah,
when you think of movies, you think of the acting.
Oh yeah, that's the
when we think of the movies, we think of production side, we think of directing side,
Yeah.
we think of that side.
So
I guess we just have different tastes.
Yeah,
it makes sense. We all have different tastes.
Yeah,
but all in all, what would you give this movie, Darren?
10 out of 10.
I give it an 11 out of 10. 11 out of motherfucking 10, dude.
Yeah, it's really good.
I recommend for you guys to go see it.
If you haven't already.
If you already made it this far, I mean, you've probably watched it.
Yeah, hopefully.
But if you haven't, you guys should go see it.
Yes.
And do you have anything else, Darren, on this movie, or?
No, I think we already covered it. It's just amazing film, and it inspired both of us. That's why we wanted to talk about it so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a pretty long one.
It's 2 hours, bro. I know.
Holy crap!
Holy shit!
Oh my god, we're almost at 2.
It is at 2 freaking hours.
But yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. If you guys made it this far.
This movie really inspired me and Darren, and just expect me and him to be producing something sometime soon. We just got to get the funds up. We just got to get our funds up for it. But me and him, we have some good ideas. We have films written down, and I guarantee you one day we're gonna make a movie just as good as this movie. This is an amazing movie.
Speak it into existence.
I'm speaking into existence. But Shawn Mendes, amazing job with this movie. Both the actors did an amazing job. I'm very glad that they had a woman writer on this to get her take on World War I as well.
They did, yeah.
I'm glad that was it Roger Deakins.
Yeah, and he's a
he's an Oscar award-winning cinematographer.
Yes,
they had to hire the best of the best. So I'm I'm glad they hired the best of the best.
And he's been in the industry for hella long.
He is one old mofo too, and he knows what he's doing.
He does know what he's doing.
He's been to he's been to a lot of film schools in fucking the UK. So he knows what he's doing,
and he has a really good track record. So
yeah, he's got a great track record. Probably one of the best cinematographers there is.
Yeah.
Production on this movie was everything.
Insane.
Everything.
Yeah.
Production
Sam
was
Mendes
everything.
did amazing. I don't know how you kept it.
I don't know how you did this, but you did a fucking amazing job.
Yeah. Blew us away.
I literally dropped my jaw couple times, maybe 5.
So many times.
So many times. Handful of times. This movie just changed it all. Honestly, it changed my view on how to make a movie, and it should change people's views on what war movies are and what movies are in general, because they're just more than just fucking non-practical as like FX bullshit, you know. It's just more than that.
Hey, but they have their place.
Yeah, they have their place, but this just comes down straight to storytelling.
Yeah.
Storytelling is what make movies, you know, not
True.
those type of things.
True.
So I'm glad you guys tuned into the Dojo podcast.
Thank you.
And Darren, we leave that in 2019, baby.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Me and D-Bag love you all.
Welcome to the Filmcast.
This is the duo Filmcast. We'll probably do more duo Filmcasts.
Oh yeah, more films coming up.
We're probably gonna do a lot. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
It was a jolly old time.
Oh yes, it was. Stuck it in there.
Yeah. GG's only.
That was a long
2 fucking hours.
God, we really talked about 1917 for 2 hours.
2 fucking hours, bro.
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
2 fucking hours.
So long. God.
It's 1 o'clock right now. Holy shit. Don't you have school tomorrow?